chosen one, a younger person, is secretly obsessed. They're about to confess. Ugh! What if someone in your life has rehearsed a confession in their head so many times? They could recite it in their sleep. But every time they see your face, the words disappear. What if the reason someone younger keeps almost saying something, then backing away at the last second, is because what they feel for you scares them more than anything else in their life right now? Have you ever caught someone looking at you a second too long, then quickly pretending they weren't? Stick with me, because this isn't a story about coincidence. This is about the quiet, terrifying process of someone working up the courage to tell you something they've been carrying for longer than you probably realize. Problem right now, you might feel like you're standing in the middle of something you can't quite name. There's a shift in the air around a certain person, a tension that wasn't there before, moments that feel loaded with meaning you can't fully confirm. Do you find yourself overthinking texts, replaying tone of voice, wondering if you're reading into things that aren't really there? That mental loop is draining, isn't it? Waking up wondering if today is the day something gets said. Going to sleep wondering if you imagined the whole thing. Here's what I want you to understand before we go further. The confusion you're feeling isn't a flaw in your perception. It's often a sign that something real is happening beneath the surface, and your mind is simply trying to make sense of signals that haven't been spoken out loud yet. Development. Why silence sometimes says more than words. Have you ever noticed someone go quiet at the exact moment a conversation started getting personal? Silence, in these moments, isn't emptiness. It's often the sound of someone holding back words they're not ready to release. A pause that lasts a beat too long. A sentence that trails off before it finishes. What if the silences you've been noticing aren't awkward at all? What if they're the loudest thing happening in the room? The specific way someone watches you. When they think you're not looking. Think about moments when you've caught someone's expression shift. The second they realized you noticed them watching you. A flicker of embarrassment, a quick look away, a small smile they couldn't quite hide. Have you ever felt like someone was studying your face, not out of curiosity, but out of quiet fascination? That kind of attention isn't casual. People don't watch things they don't care about that closely. Why they bring up memories you barely remember. Sharing. Have you ever mentioned something small in passing? A favorite song, a childhood memory, an offhand comment, only to have someone reference it weeks later like it mattered deeply to them. That kind of memory isn't accidental. It takes genuine emotional investment to hold on to details other people forget the moment they're spoken. Doesn't it make you wonder how much of what you've said in passing has actually been carefully stored away? The tension between wanting to be close and needing to stay distant. Notice how someone might pull toward you in one moment, leaning in during conversation, initiating contact, extending time together, and then suddenly create distance right afterward, almost as if they're afraid of what they just revealed. Have you felt this push and pull with someone recently? Closeness followed by sudden retreat. That inconsistency often isn't confusion on their part. It's fear. Getting close feels good, but the vulnerability that comes with it feels overwhelming, so they retreat to protect themselves from feeling too exposed. If this pattern feels familiar to something happening in your life, comment, "I've noticed this" below, because recognizing the pattern helps you understand what's really going on beneath the surface. And if you want to keep exploring signals like this, subscribe now so you don't miss what comes next. Why they seem nervous around you. but completely at ease. With everyone else, have you noticed someone who seems perfectly confident, witty, and relaxed with other people, but suddenly stumbles over their words the moment your attention turns to them? That shift isn't a coincidence, and it isn't random anxiety. It's a very specific kind of nervousness that only shows up around people who matter far more than they're willing to admit. What does it tell you when someone's confidence completely changes depending on whether or not you're the one they're talking to? The way they try to learn everything about your life without asking. Directly think about someone who seems to know an unusual amount about your schedule, your preferences, your habits, not because you've explicitly told them everything, but because they've been quietly paying attention for a long time. Have you ever realized someone knew details about you that you don't remember directly sharing? That kind of quiet observation takes sustained interest. People don't accidentally memorize the patterns of someone they don't care about. Why compliments from them feel loaded with meaning? Have you received a compliment recently that felt different from the usual, more specific, more hesitant, delivered with a strange kind of vulnerability in their voice? Casual compliments are easy and forgettable. The ones that stick with you, the ones that feel like they took courage to say, are usually the ones carrying something deeper underneath them. What if the compliment that caught you off guard wasn't just kindness? It was someone testing the waters to see how you'd respond. If this is resonating with someone specific in your life, subscribe now, because understanding these emotional undercurrents is exactly what we dive into on this channel. The fear that keeps them from saying anything at all. Consider the internal narrative someone might be carrying, convincing themselves you'd never see them the same way, worrying that the difference in age or experience makes their feelings seem foolish, assuming rejection is the only possible outcome. Have you ever wondered if someone's distance is less about disinterest and more about self-protection? That fear of being dismissed, of not being taken seriously, often keeps people locked in silence far longer than their actual feelings would suggest. Why certain conversations suddenly feel different than they used. To think about how ordinary conversations you've had with this person have shifted lately. More meaningful eye contact, longer pauses, questions that feel more personal than they used to be. Have you noticed a conversation that used to feel simple, suddenly carrying an unspoken weight to it? That shift in tone often signals emotional escalation. People don't accidentally deepen conversations with someone they feel nothing for. The jealousy they try hard to hide. Have you mentioned someone else you're interested in, only to notice a subtle change in this person's mood? A quieter response, a slight withdrawal, a topic change that felt just a little too quick. Jealousy rarely announces itself directly. It shows up in small shifts most people don't even notice they're displaying. Doesn't it make sense that indifference wouldn't produce any reaction at all? If this is hitting close to home, subscribe now, because we're going to keep uncovering these emotional patterns together. Why they create reasons to be around you that don't fully make sense. Notice patterns where someone finds excuses to be near you, asking for help they don't really need, showing up in places they know you'll be, extending time together beyond what feels necessary. Have you noticed someone consistently creating opportunities to stay close to you without an obvious reason? That pattern isn't a coincidence. Proximity without explanation is often one of the clearest signs that someone is emotionally invested, whether they've said anything or not. The way they protect you without being asked. To think about moments when someone stepped in to support you, defend you, or check on you without any prompting. Small gestures of care that go beyond normal friendliness. Have you noticed someone consistently looking out for you in ways that feel more protective than platonic? That instinct to protect someone often comes from something deeper than simple friendship. People don't naturally feel protective over someone they don't care about. Why the confession, when it comes, often feels sudden, even though it wasn't. Feelings that build quietly over time eventually reach a breaking point. What feels sudden to you has often been building slowly, silently, for much longer than you realized. Have you ever felt like a conversation was building towards something they weren't quite ready to say yet? That tension, that unspoken build-up sitting just beneath the surface, often means the confession is closer than you think, even if the timing feels uncertain right now. What you owe yourself before anything is even said, before worrying about their feelings, ask yourself an important question. What do you actually want here, separate from whatever they might be feeling? Have you taken the time to understand your own emotions in all of this, instead of only focusing on theirs? Your clarity matters more than their confession. Understanding your own feelings first will help you respond authentically, whatever happens next. Why this moment is about more than just them. Whatever comes of this, whether they confess, whether you welcome it, whether it changes nothing at all. This season is also an invitation to reflect on how you see yourself, your worth, and what you're truly open to receiving. Have you considered what this entire experience is teaching you about your own emotional patterns? Sometimes situations like this reveal more about your own readiness for connection than they do about the other person's feelings. Closing. If any part of this reached something true in you, trust what you've been noticing. The tension, the shifts, the quiet moments that felt like more than nothing. You weren't imagining any of it. Whatever happens next, remember that your worth was never dependent on someone else confessing their feelings. Clarity within yourself will always matter more than confirmation from someone else. If you're ready to trust your intuition, understand your relationships more deeply, and start recognizing the truth in front of you, then subscribe to this channel right now. This is just the beginning of a journey we're walking through together. Because sometimes the most important thing you discover isn't what someone else feels for you. It's what you finally understand about yourself.